Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, meeting is being recorded. We have a quorum. We just dedicated a moment of silence. We are now going to look at the agenda. As soon as we get it up. Oh, thank you very much. Okay, so we have a quorum. We need to look at the agenda. Is there anything someone need to, or any of the commissioner need to change? Do we need to add something to the
Chair.
agenda or remove something from the agenda?
Sorry, Chair Carley. Yes, I need to remove the oh my gosh, my resolution for the nuisance property. It sounds like I'm still working with the AG's office and violence interrupters, and it sounds like we are still working on some language. So that will likely be back on the agenda next month, but for right now, we are not ready for that.
Okay, so we're going to remove from the agenda, and I'm going to try to widen it just a little bit.
Thank you.
Can we get, I'm trying to figure out how we can get the full agenda up there. Where is mine? All right, thank you. And is that only something you can control? Can we get it enlarged so everyone can see it? Okay. And we can't scroll it. Can we move it down to where the resolutions are? All right, thank you. Okay, so you are going to remove the 1358 Brentwood Road nuisance property from the resolution? I mean, from the agenda today.
Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Chris Catan. I'm an actor, comedian, performer. I think I'm best known for my work on Saturday Night Live.
Do we have somebody need to be muted? All right, thanks. Okay, anything else need to be removed from the agenda?
Hi, Commissioner Carley. I need to remove my BZA item C. I'm going to actually request that we postpone that until our March 23rd meeting. So if we could just plan to add it to that agenda, that would be great. Okay,
visa number 20664, removed from the agenda, from a January agenda.
February, yes.
Yes, February.
Thank you.
And also, I would like to switch the presenters around.
I would like to remove something as well from while we're down at the ANC business. Take the letter of support off of 3523. I have not received enough feedback in order for me to do a full ANC vote. So I will not do the letter of support for the unenclosed cafe.
Okay, so the letter of support for 3523 12th Street is removed from the agenda,
Yes.
January's agenda. Okay,
February.
and why do I keep saying January? Okay, from February's agenda, and I would like to switch the presenters so that council member, Ward 5 council members, presenter or his local will be able to present before Mayor Bowser. If you guys agree with that. Yeah. Just so we don't have to do too much switching around in case that person shows up late.
No problem. I have no problem.
Okay, so we switch the Ward 5 council members, presenter to speak at 6:52, I believe, p.m. And the mayor's office will speak at 6:57 p.m. And we will remove the visa 20664, letter of support 3523, as well as the nuisance property, which is the 1358 Brookland Road. I am welcoming anyone to put that motion on the floor. Anyone wants to put that motion on the floor?
I'll put the motion on the floor to approve the agenda or approve the agenda. Oops, got muted. I put the motion on the floor to approve the agenda with the aforementioned edits.
Seconded?
Second, yeah. The motion has been placed on the floor and seconded. Commissioner Carley?
Can't hear you, Commissioner Carley.
All right, yes, I support that.
Okay.
We need.
No, it was a motion placed on the floor to approve the agenda.
And it was second.
Yes.
And
Okay,
and I vote yes.
okay. Yes, aye.
5B03,
Aye.
5B04,
Yes.
5B05.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. The agenda is now changed. It's approved. Okay. Can you go back up to the top, please, so we can see the top of the agenda so we know what we have next? Okay, so now I think you have the minutes. We are on January minutes. Did everyone receive the minutes?
Yes.
And I sent corrected minutes. Do you guys need a minute to look at it?
Commissioner, would you just be able to quickly high level flag what the changes were from the first version to the one you just sent? I did review the earlier version, but I don't know if the changes was just like a quick typo or.
Yes, there some were typo, the correction of Miss Dickinson, and the other ones to include that Commissioner Higgins will assume the responsibilities of the recording secretary until we are able to get someone in that position. And we'll be sharing it. So that's basically what was put in there. So we need to make sure that's in there.
Thank you.
Okay, any more discussion on approving the minutes for January? No? So everyone, Commissioner Costello, only because I don't see you is why I'm calling you out.
Hi, yep, I'm actually just looking at them. I did see them in my email, but I didn't look at them closely. So can you give me 30 seconds?
I can give you 30 seconds.
All right, thank you.
And one other thing I did want to mention as I was going over the minutes, Commissioner Piekara. If you don't mind, you were the only one that wasn't sworn in January. Do you mind if we can swear you in the March meeting?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excuse me. I hope everyone is aware that when you all do your votes, if she's not sworn in, her vote doesn't count.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, my vote still counts. I'm still a commissioner, but I'm not sworn
your
as
vote doesn't.
correspondence secretary.
Commissioner Piekara. Okay. So make sure you guys raise your hands because we gotta, keep the meeting moving. We understand she gave some input. We'll move on from there. Do we have Commissioner Costello's? Are you finished? Is that 30 seconds?
Yep, I did have a chance to review. We were only sworn in as officers in our January meeting, not as commissioners. So Commissioner Piekara is right. She is still
Well,
a
I
voting member
understand
of the
that.
body.
Understood. We got that. We'll have that discussion at the council meeting. And that's why I
Okay.
wanted to bring it up. That's why I wanted to bring it up now so we can have it in the record. Exactly what I just said.
All right, sounds good. I am good on the agenda. Thank you.
All right.
Or excuse
great.
me, the minutes. The minutes.
Okay. All right. So we have the minutes reviewed by all the commissioners. And so now we are basically going to vote to approve the minutes for January. We're going to do a roll call vote. Commissioner Higgins?
I accept the minutes.
Okay. Commissioner Amin?
Yes, accept.
Okay. Commissioner Costello?
I think you skipped over Commissioner Piekara.
No, I did not.
I'm confused as to what's happening here. I'm still very much a sitting commissioner. I was not sworn in as correspondence secretary, but my vote is very, very much valid.
Okay. All right. We'll leave all this discussion about that. Commissioner Piekara, what's your vote?
Aye. I don't know if there's a discussion though. I was
Okay,
elected by
Commissioner
this community.
Costello? Commissioner Costello?
Assuming what we're voting on are the minutes from January. Aye.
Yes. Did you give a response?
I did. I said aye.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear you. Okay, so we have that on the recording. Everyone voted. So the minutes are approved for January. We're now going to move on to the treasurer's report and any voting that the treasurer needs from the commission. Commissioner Amin.
Sorry, I was sending, give me a second. I'm sending information to a constituent. Yeah, okay. Thank you, commissioners. Thank you for that. Okay, treasurer's report. 22, 23, 2022. Available balance as of today is $13,915.94. On 2/4, the PNC Bank Signatory Authority was taken care of, and the 3 signers on the account, the chair, vice chair, and treasurer, is Chair Carley, Vice Chair Higgins, and Treasurer Amin are the 3 signatories on the PNC Bank account. 2/4/22, FY22 Q1 was filed. On 2/9/22, the security fund agreement was filed with ANC Operations. On 2/16/22, the security fund agreement was accepted by ANC Operations. That means that we're clear to write checks in calendar year, fiscal year 22. Now, we received notice from Operations and from OANC that FY22 Q2 QFR is due on April 5th, 2022. ANC 5B will be prepared to vote on that in April's full body meeting. As of 2/23/22, as of today, 5B's worksheet is reconciled. Commissioners, signatories, officers, I need to coordinate our schedules so we can get invoices signed. And we're signing February invoices because we just been cleared to do that. So Commissioner Carley and Commissioner Higgins, I will be reaching out to you via email, and we will coordinate our schedules to get those, see how we can work this out so we can get our February invoices submitted before the end of the month.
One or the other, correct?
Well, I wouldn't need both of you. I mean,
Okay.
unless y'all just want to see me.
No, that's why I asked.
Okay, I'm just saying it's one of you. So I reach out whatever one schedule works best with my schedule. That's how we do it. Okay. So
Okay.
we submit and how we coordinate it. Okay. And the next thing is the vote for the consulting agreement.
Okay,
So
can we stop right there, Commissioner?
yes, Chair.
Because I'm looking at the time and I know someone needs to get out of here, but we will come back to that. And I just want to make sure this person, because I did tell them they would be able to start at a particular time. So
I think we have plenty of time now that everything's been removed from the agenda. Sure thing, Chair Carley.
okay, so let's hold it right there.
Okay, great.
Is Mr. Grant on the phone or is he in the meeting?
I am here.
Okay, Mr. Grant, would you go and present, please?
First, good evening to everyone. Secondly, I want to thank you all for allowing the flexibility for me tonight. I actually have 2 additional meetings to attend tonight, and so I'm going to give a report, try to take some questions, but I do have to jump off right at around 6:55 to join the next meeting. So I don't have a lot of time, but I want to jump in and give a couple of updates.
You just ate up 10 of your seconds, but go ahead.
Sure. So just wanted to give you guys an update on the performance oversight schedule. We are pretty much through with the performance oversight at this point. The committee that the council member chairs has one additional hearing on March the 3rd with the CFO's office and DC Lottery. And so many of you may know, but for those who don't know, after the performance oversight comes the budget oversight. Which is very important to all of us as residents to ensure that we make the best use of all of those billions of dollars that we have here in the DC government. A couple of key dates that I want you all to keep in mind, and we'll also send out some reminders from our office, and we've already sent out a link to the schedule, but I just want to highlight that one, on March 18th, the chairman will be holding a committee of the whole briefing to review the mayor's 2023 proposed budget. It's supposed to be coming down early in March, and then the 18th will be the actual beginning of the council looking at the budget as it is from the mayor. A couple of other dates here. March 23rd, the Deputy Mayor's Office for Public Safety and Justice will be having their budget oversight hearing on that day. March 24th is a big day with OAG, also the Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement. In the business realm, DSLBD. In the planning realm, on the 24th, zoning and OP will be coming before the council. March 30th is also a big day with all things education coming down that day, and also MPD on March 30th. The last date that I'll note, and again, all of these are important, but I want to make sure you all were aware of these. On April 4th, DDOT will be appearing for their budget oversight. And so those are some key agencies and dates that I wanted you all to be reminded of with respect to the budget oversight that's happening in March and April. I know that in many instances, I report at a number of meetings. So some of you may have heard this at different meetings, but I wanted to present it here. Several weeks ago, the council member was championing the opportunity for the Deputy Mayor's Office on Planning and Economic Development to have grant-making authority to put $40 million out in the city for those businesses, those small businesses that have been negatively impacted by COVID. I want to be able to share the link in the chat if possible for you all to share with impacted businesses in your respective SMDs. One of the things the council member has really been proud of is taking a small business approach to the Committee on Business and Economic Development. And so in many instances, we look at that committee, or we have looked at that committee in the past as a sort of big business committee, but we actually putting a focus on small businesses, understanding that a number of business owners are people that look just like you and I and walk along the streets the way that we do. Along with that, I wanted to also finally say that with the Bridge Fund, the current application period is coming to a close on Friday, and the next application period will start on Saturday, February 26th, and will end on March 18th. I'll put the link to obviouslydc.com in the chat if I can. And with that, I will give the floor back to the commission if there are any questions that I can try to respond to.
Thank you very much. If you can, when you finish with your next meeting, you can drop back in. We're going to have the community concerns when they'll have the residents ask any questions that they may have.
Okay.
All right, thank you. So at this time, you made it under 5 minutes. I just want to let you know that. Thank you. I got my countdown clock going. Okay, so right now, MPD, 4th District, PSA 405, Captain Terry, are you in the meeting? Captain Terry raised his hand. Thank you. It is, hi, how are you? Thank you. I'm glad you could make it and you can begin presenting. I'm going to start my clock. Go ahead.
Sure. I don't have too much for you because 40 obviously only encompasses a tiny bit of the ANC. But just over the last 30 days, we just had one robbery. It was on 10th Street. There's nothing. It looks like it was 2 suspects robbed the gentleman that was in the alley warming up his car. We have a vehicle. Look out for that. It's a dark colored Jeep Cherokee, but that case is still open. And that vehicle was actually taken in an auto theft the day before that robbery occurred. And that robbery occurred on the 26th of January. Aside from that, we just have a couple reported theft from autos, and then 2 stolen vehicles. So one thing we have had issues with along Eastern Avenue and then South Dakota Avenue, and right on the line here, like Michigan Avenue area, some vehicle vandalisms, airbag thefts. We have some suspects that have been going around. This isn't just exclusive to your ANC. It's happened along Georgia Avenue as well. Some vehicles getting their windows shot out with what looks like a BB gun. And we have a lot of video from these offenses, thankfully, because people bring cameras and whatnot. But our officers do have the lookouts for the vehicles we're looking for. That's a tough one. That's probably traffic complaints, and those vehicle vandalisms are probably the things we get the most questions about in community meetings and whatnot. So it's definitely something that's frustrating for us as well, because it just happens so fast, and it's such a crime of opportunity. If the block is clear, what basically happens is the suspects roll through in a car, shoot out the windows of a dozen vehicles, and then take off, and they're gone. It all happens in under probably 20 seconds. So that's one of the more difficult crimes to solve and to catch. You just kind of have to be in the area at the right time, and it's sporadic. We've had them during the day, we've had them overnight, so it's a little bit frustrating for us. But in response to that, we've assigned a traffic car in Sector 2 in the 4th District. So our traffic car, their sole responsibility is to run traffic and be visible and take enforcement action. And then we have some crime patrol units. So basically, it's a few cars that their sole responsibility is to patrol these areas where these things are happening, because they're going back to the same areas, just different times a day. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to match up times a day with times of weeks, with day of the weeks and whatnot, and have those cars in that area really heavy, so they can be on the lookout for that kind of thing. So that's how we're trying to combat it. And then our detectives are still working on it. It's quite a few offenses at this point. So I know that we have one officer specifically assigned to running through the video and just looking for anything that, any vehicle on our tag reader that matches up. If there's like something, specific or kind of, it's not like a stock Charger or something like that. We're trying to look for things like bumper stickers and whatnot, and trying to get tag numbers from our tag reader to see if we can match the vehicles up and kind of tie it back to somebody. So we are working on that actively. And I pulled the rest of your crime stats. I can't speak to 5D because I'm not really sure what their deployment strategy is, but crime is up in the ANC over the last few weeks. I think there were 7 robberies in 5D, but I don't know too much about them because I don't get their write-ups.
5D is on. They are invited as well, and I do believe Captain Moore is here as well.
Yeah, I mean, he can probably speak to those. And so, I mean, those are the biggest issues in 40, the vehicle vandalisms and the theft from autos. And we've had our auto theft unit out at, various businesses and whatnot, trying to do some education about our motor vehicle thefts and not leaving vehicles running. Because one of the things we're seeing is, and I've spoken about this in other meetings, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, we're seeing these hop-ins where people are leaving their vehicles running or vehicles warming up. Suspects jump in, take them, and then they're using them in some of the more violent crimes around the city, some robberies and carjackings. Not necessarily just in the 4th district, but in some other districts as well. So we're just out encouraging people to not leave their vehicles running, especially if you can't lock it. I have one vehicle I can lock while the remote start is on. I have one vehicle I can't lock for some reason. So just kind of be aware of that. And just be aware of your surroundings when you are warming your vehicle up, because that is how our one robbery happened, obviously. So I can take any questions anyone has.
We are going to reserve the questions for when we have our community concerns, if you don't mind. So if you can either stick around or come back in a few minutes, I would really appreciate it.
Sure, no problem.
All right, Captain Moore, are you on? Or a representative for Captain Moore, because I know he worked midnight shifts. 5D, are you on? Okay. Awesome. Okay, well, let's move on. Nope, that's not him. Christopher Dyer, are you on? I thought I saw you log in.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm trying to figure out how to turn on the mute button still after years and years of doing this.
Okay, oh, there you are. Okay, if you can present, thank you. You have 7 o'clock. I did tell you 7:02, so you have 5 minutes. And
oh, good. I will be brief. Thank you all for having me and inviting me. My name is Christopher Dyer. I'm the community engagement manager for the Department of Parks and Rec. Just a quick reminder that we are the #1 ranked park system in the country. We have 244 sites across 900 acres of green space. I've had the pleasure of working with a couple of the commissioners here in 5B. This is just a brief list of some of our centers that are in the facility, in the ward. Obviously, Turkey Thicket is one of our sort of signature rec centers in the area. One of the couple of websites to visit, and I'm going to drop this into the chat. Please visit dprprograms.com because spring program registration will open on March 1st. We have a variety of programs that you might find of interest, so visit dprprograms.com. Believe it or not, even though it's getting a little bit warmer, we are actually planning for summer. This is a list of some of the many camps that we're going to be having across the city. Please visit dprsummercamp.com for additional information. We have a couple more important dates. Registration for camps will open on a rolling basis during the week of April 4th, 2022. We know people like to start planning their summer now, so please keep an eye out for that because that's going to be the sign for weeks. There is also an application for reduced rate available online right now. And again, visit dprsummercamp.com for additional information. The reduced rate info. We do offer a reduced rate for residents. Please visit dprsummercamp.com to find out. Qualifying, after completing the form, there's a form. Applicants will be contacted by DPR to schedule an appointment to provide requirement and proof. Qualifying families will either receive a 50 or 75% discount depending on income level. And that's more stuff. Also, visit dprevents.com. Another website to visit is dpr.events for a list of upcoming special events. We're actually going to be having a late night hype volume 2 at Turkey Thicket on March 18th, which is going to be quite fun. Information is on the site, and we'll also be sharing this with the commissioners to share with the community. But that's going to be interesting. Permits. If you're going to be doing an event, I know I got a question for Commissioner Costello about this earlier. If you're looking to do an event at one of our rec centers, go visit dpr.dc.gov/permits to get a permit for the event. Our permit team is pretty responsive, and they should be able to help you get a permit to take advantage of one of our 244 sites across the city. Finally, Ready to Play. We are in the process of doing a Ready to Play update, which is the master plan which will sort of guide our development and capital planning for the next 20 years. Keep an eye on that. Please visit readytoplaydc.com to review some of the documents. Also, we're going to be releasing a draft capital blueprint, and you as a commission will be given the opportunity to provide feedback on that plan. Finally, I want to thank you all for having me. My primary role in the agency is to be your point of contact with the Department of Parks and Rec. I used to be an ANC commissioner myself, so I understand the great work that you guys do and appreciate the challenges. My phone, you can reach me at any time at 202-702-9453, which is my cell. You could also email me at christopher.dyer@dc.gov. And I do respond to emails and texts up until about 9 o'clock at night, because I know that, like you guys, you don't work a normal 9 to 5, or you do your work after being on the show, on the job for 9 to 5. And I think I am done with my presentation. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to drop my stuff in the chat, and I will hang out for community concerns, and I can answer any questions that the ANC might have at this point, but I will also wait for you if you'd like.
All right, thank you. I truly appreciate that, and you hanging around as well. Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. Dyer. So Commissioner Costello.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Costello. I just wanted to see your face, but I really was looking for Commissioner Prita.
I'm here, I promise.
But glad to see your face. Commissioner Piekara.
Commissioners, I kindly ask if I can have a few minutes. I've got a sick baby situation, so I will have to give the correspondence update in just a little bit, if that's okay.
Okay, we can wait, not a problem. All right, so I wanted to go into the community concerns or speak with the community. We are going to do the treasurer's, whatever he has to present on the that agreement for us to get a web support. But I know that's going to be a very long conversation. So why don't we go ahead and because we're going to need a vote with that, and we can do that all at the same time. If there's a vote taken at all, don't know, never said it would be, then we can do that when we take care of ANC business. So let's open it up to the community. I'm sorry, single member district report. Commissioner Higgins.
Basically, as the officer said, there has been a lot of public safety issues going on in the SMD. And I'm sure, I think that is that yours or mine, Commissioner Costello, on the 4200 block of 13th? A child was...
13th Street bisects our district, so you have the east side, I have the west.
A child was hit today, and the car bucked a U-turn and got away. So that happened today, just before our meeting. But also, speed humps are going in between Otis and the 1800 block to the 1900 block of Otis Street. So I know the community had wanted that. So finally, we were able to get that accomplished. So those will be going in very shortly. Other than that, there have been robberies on 12th Street, at the Subway food shop. It's just been a lot of activity, negative activity, snatch and grabs, not just with the establishments, but, persons. So it's just been an interesting situation in 5E02 in terms of robberies and gunplay. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Excuse me, can anyone hear me?
Who is this?
I'm sorry, I apologize, man. This is Sergeant Sepulveda from representing for Captain Moore. I'm sorry, I just had some technical issue and I couldn't get in when you were calling me.
Okay, give me 1 minute, if you don't mind. Okay, Commissioner Higgins, thank you very much. And if you guys don't mind, we'll go ahead and let 5D report. I'm sorry, can you repeat your name again, Sergeant?
Sure, Sergeant Sepulveda.
Okay, welcome, and you can begin.
Thank you. I apologize about that. So yeah, I'm representing for Captain Moore. So far, the robberies went up from 5 to 7. The violent crime went from 6 to 9, and the property crime went from 28 to 38. The first robbery was in 1913 Michigan Avenue Northeast in January 26th around 10:02 p.m. That was a robbery of establishment, and it involved two people in one vehicle. They took like around $800 to $900 in cash. Second one was on February the 1st at 3:30 in the morning, 1400 block of Rhode Island, but that was cleared by arrest. The third one was on February the 3rd at 10:35 p.m., 936 Rhode Island Avenue Northeast, and that was also a robbery of establishment. The next one was on February the 9th at 9:10 p.m., 1808 Offshore Street Northeast, in which the suspect had an assault rifle and the other person had a black handgun, and they fled in a dark color SUV. The next one is 3217 12th Street Northeast. That occurred on February the 3rd at 12:55 a.m. The next one was on February the 17th at 9:55 p.m. on 3934 12th Street Northeast. And then the last one occurred on February the 20th, 4:45 p.m. and 936 Rhode Island Street Northeast. At the same time, I wanted to share some good news in which so far we have recovered 72 guns for this year, so we kind of averaging 2 guns a week. We also closed another case. It was an armed robbery of the 7-Eleven, 1400 Black Raya, in which the suspect also robbed 2 other 7-Elevens. We also caught another person carrying a pistol without a license in the 1350 Brentwood Road, Northeast. We also caught a person stealing from a vehicle that happened in the 12th Street corridor. And then we also caught another person carrying a pistol without a license, and that was in regards to a shooting that occurred in January the 24th in the 1300 block of Brentwood. So far, as the captain previously said, we do have overtime units in this 12th Street corridor, and they're called high visibilities, and that happens on the 3 shifts. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. And if you don't mind, if you can hang around for a few minutes, we're going to do community concerns in case anyone have any questions.
Sure.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Piekara, we are going to finish up with single member district reports and then go back to the correspondence, if you don't mind. So it's now your opportunity to present on your single member district.
Yeah, and thank you again for the the flexibility earlier. For SMD 5B03, there is ongoing conversations, as many of you know, with the owners of 1358 Brentwood on the increased violence there. The Office of the Attorney General has been involved, as well as Councilmember McDuffie's office. We are looking to all potential resolutions to this, but now that I think we do have a pretty good handle on at least some of the I won't say cause, but some of the correlation between store owner and the activity. So the council member's office has been very helpful in figuring that out. And we are also working on getting the council to, well, it sounds like Councilmember McDuffie's office is working on getting the council to lower the bar for what counts as a nuisance property. And so that is in progress. Hopefully we will have a resolution fairly soon. In the meantime, we are also talking with the property owners and others to see if there's any other ways to put pressure on it. Lots of speed bumps came in today. I've gotten emails. I haven't had a chance to check in with all of them, but I know Hamlin, I believe between 13th and 16th, all got speed humps put in today. And I also believe Lawrence, but I have to confirm that. I also have received a number of emails that we've got some NOIs for other speed humps coming in. So all good news. I think we've been pounding the pavement. Everyone's done really helpful job in helping email and get petitions and TSIs. I think that those are actually coming to fruition, which is great. The other thing on the NOI that is coming through is the Franklin and Rhode Island intersection. That is going to be no right turn on red. That is something that has been requested for quite a while. As so many know, drivers don't necessarily stop when they're taking that corner, especially going up and down the hill. So hoping that this no right on red will be the beginning, but we also recognize that there's going to need to be, especially initially, some very serious enforcement to get people to obey the new signage. So working with DDOT on that. I think those are the big takeaways. But thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Amin?
Yeah, I try to be brief here so we can get community concerns in. So following Commissioner Piekara, yeah, the speed humps are coming in, and I have to say over here in 5B04, you have done a stellar job at getting that in and taking on these leadership positions. I think everyone has identified the concerns in their areas, and everyone has stepped forward. Most of us have stepped forward in order to take care of it. And I'm very proud to be a part of a team that does that. So we've also received a lot of new speed humps and bumps. And we started the process, which is going to be a long process, but we started the phase 1 process of changing 9th Street, that 9th Street that runs between Girard and Monroe Street. So hopefully we will see our phase 1 changes that was submitted. We will see those by the spring or early summer. I want to thank the team over there that came out with me with DDOT. That was Alex and Jeff and Jesse, and they did some good work with the getting the TSIs in and coordinating and designing a 9th Street that we all could stay safe on. Also, I have to thank my advisory team that's coming out of the Reed Street Hanover project. Been doing some great work over there. I think that people don't realize how long and how hard this process has been going on. Some people are just starting to pay attention to it, but I have to acknowledge that this team, along with the ANC and the BNCA, has been working on this whole project for at least 3.5 years now. Everything from the comp plan through the future, the FLUM and all of that. So hold the line, guys. And, you're doing some really, really great work over there. And we're going to bring this up for a vote this year. And I'm glad the MPD is still holding on, because we have a lot of concerns over here with car break-ins and vandalism. I'm getting a lot of concerns off of 10th and Rhode Island Avenue, out of that area, that corridor, and also now 9th and Girard. So I say to our MPD staff that the community over here feels like they're being neglected by MPD. So I hope that we can look at this and, and figure out how do we make it safer. I know that we're stretched very thin as far as MPD, but community members really feel like no one's listening to them and no one's paying attention to them, and they're not getting the assistance and the patrol that they need over here. And great work to my team over there on 10th and Evarts, between Franklin and Evarts, Andre and Jen, all them over there that took care of that water main break that we had today. We got that done today as well. So stellar work, team. Let's keep up the good work. Keep moving forward.
Thank you. I was getting ready to tell you, you got less than 30 seconds. You are limited time. Commissioner Costello, 5B05.
Thank you. Yes, I'm going to keep it even briefer. But I just want to say to my colleagues and to their constituents, I'm really glad to see everyone so supportive of, increased traffic calming throughout our community. It is really starting to make a difference, and I've heard a lot from my constituents as well who had speed humps installed last fall, how drastically it has improved, the street safety in front of their homes. They feel a lot safer. They don't see people trying to cut through their streets anymore. So keep up the great work, everyone. I am just going to drop a link in the chat on that topic and just share it so my constituents and maybe others, if they're interested, can take a look at it. I have been keeping a spreadsheet and a map that tracks all of the 311 requests I've submitted and all of the work I've been doing, and you can check the status of that. I had a conversation with DDOT earlier today and shared that with them as well, and they thought it was really helpful to see, all of the pending 311 requests that we have, mostly for traffic calming in my district, and so it helps everybody stay on top of things and hopefully stay accountable as well. So I don't have any other updates. We had some zoning, one real quick thing. So we had some zoning cases that we had discussed at some of my SMD meetings, January and February. We are not ready to bring those up for a vote before the full body, so we've postponed them. Some of the developers are working on, I hope, synchronizing their designs so that they are a little bit more compatible, and one of the developers is working on a construction management agreement so that we can make sure that residents aren't negatively affected by the work. So that's all pending, and hopefully we'll have more to share on that in March and maybe even a vote. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. 5B01 received a lot of speed humps as well. I think there's maybe, maybe 4 or 5 streets left. I think it's down to maybe we started out with maybe 12. So thank you, DPW, DDOT for that. We had what we consider to be a nuisance property off Bunker Hill Road. The lot there finally got cleaned. We finally got the van removed off the lot as well. We have people are using it as a dumping site, so we're now trying to get the owner to possibly put some no trespassing signs up and pretty much seal the gates or secure the gates so people cannot just randomly wander in there and use it for whatever purposes they want. What else do we have? The only thing I think left on that lot is the last complaint that I received from the neighbors that they have not come out to address the poison ivy on the tree that literally is penetrating her garage, which is the abutting property. And so once we can get a third party, or DCRA is able to get a third party out there to address that, then I think we can consider that no longer to be a nuisance property. And that is all I have for right now. And Michigan Avenue, Eastern Avenue, they mentioned the robberies or vandalism of cars, and that is in my area. And I think I brought that up at the last meeting, so that would be nice to be able to address that tonight. So right now we're going to go ahead and let Commissioner Piekara, you can do the correspondence if you don't mind, and if you are ready.
Yes, ma'am. So we have a couple of announcements. I will say that I believe Mr. Dyer already covered the summer jobs program with DCPR. Is that correct? I was trying to listen, but screaming baby. So I will skip that one. There is a call out from the DC Department of Aging and Community Living asking for volunteers to come and help distribute COVID test kits. So they have signups online. I will put a link in the chat, but you can sign up via Serve DC. They have different windows, weekends, days, and different time slots. But if you are able to sign up to just help check DC IDs and distribute the kits, I know that that would be incredibly helpful. I am signed up. Actually, I think my first shift is next Monday. So I will be there alongside for anyone that does plan on signing up. Come volunteer with me. And then we also have, and it sounds like Commissioner Amin is already involved in this program, so he can give additional details, but it does look like there is a focus group, a University of Maryland focus group that is looking for study participants. It sounds like there is a stipend, and I will include the flyer for that. It looks like it's $40 compensation cash, and then a UMD swag for those members that are accepted. But the focus of the study is about an hour virtually over Zoom, and it's focused on neighborhood boundaries, assets, and risks for child and family health, community strengths, and resident priorities for research and outreach. So if anyone is interested, I believe, like I said, I think Commissioner Amin, you mentioned that you are already engaged in that program. So if there's anything else you want to share there, but if not, I will put that in the chat. And then I think finally, there is, just as an ongoing reminder, the Ward 5 Redistricting Task Force is up. They meet every other Tuesday. And the link for that information is on Councilmember McDuffie's page. For those of you who haven't been participating in it so far, after the Ward 5 boundaries were drawn and finalized late last year, now they have moved on to the council has moved on to redrawing the ANC boundaries. So every ANC, well, not every, a lot of ANCs will have to be adjusted based on how many new residents moved in or folks moved out. And so try to get everything around those 2,000 person mark. So those task force meetings are open to the public. I have joined them. They also record them. So they are on Councilmember McDuffie's Facebook page. And then I believe Commissioner Higgins is actually chairing the ANC 5B boundary conversation. So I'm sure if there are any other questions, she'll be able to answer those. That is it for me. Is there any questions from folks, or Commissioner Amin, if you wanted to weigh in on the study?
I would thank you.
No, stop. You can give it back to me. Thank you.
My apologies, Chair. I turn it back to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. So, and let's allow the community, if they have any questions, that they can, present those questions, you guys. That's the whole point of doing, the presentation and everything, and then having and opening up. Now, Commissioner Higgins. Commissioner Higgins?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure, are you on the chat?
No, I am not on the chat. Let me come out of this so I can see the chat. Give me a second.
So we just want to make sure that we are able to give the community an opportunity to give some input, and we want to make sure that we allow from each single member district, in case we have the same, from people from the same single member district. So let's open up the chat.
Well, can we address the question that is already in the chat?
No, of course.
So Sarah Wilkinson has a question for DPR. What does a rolling basis mean, and what time will it open? Midnight, noon? All right, Chris, you got the floor.
Thanks, Commissioner. I responded privately, but rolling means we have specialty camps that are very popular and sell out quickly, that will probably have a quick registration one day, and then we'll open to the general summer camp later. All of this is very fluid. I encourage everyone to visit dprsummercamps.com to find out more, and also to visit dprprograms.com and sign up if you don't already get our e-blast, to sign up for our e-blast. And commissioners, I will be sending you promotional stuff. We'll be bugging you. Once I have the information that I can share, I'll be forwarding to you. And also we post on Nextdoor now as well. So we will try to blast the word out and disseminate that. You can also email me directly at christopher.dyer@dc.gov, and I will add you to my very special summer camp email list. So please do that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And you guys don't forget, we still have MPD on the phone in case you have any questions. Commissioner Higgins.
I do have one for MPD. It was sent to Commissioner Costello. Did you respond, Commissioner Costello, or you want me to go ahead and read it?
I can't see anything in the chat, so maybe you guys need to change the visibility settings so that it's public.
Okay, thank you. So it says, what time was the crash? The 4200 block of 13th.
Okay, that was my question to you, actually.
Yeah, so I had gotten a text stating that it was a crash, not a crash, that a child was hit by a burgundy vehicle, SUV, on the 4200 block of 13th Street.
Okay. Do you know what?
So that's why I wanted to go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you know what time roughly? Like 5:30 to 6 or 5 to 5:30 or?
Wait a minute. Now,
Okay.
go to my text. So that's why I wanted to present that question to MPD.
Yeah. No, I thank you for flagging it. I've actually been checking in with neighbors since you mentioned that, and nobody on that block has saw anything or heard about anything. And I've got, residents at both ends that I've been checking with about it. So I just want to see if we can maybe get some camera footage, if it might be helpful.
It was 2 hours ago. It was 2 hours ago.
Is that PSA 503 or 405?
I think it's the 4th district.
District.
Okay, Captain Terry is still on the line.
Okay, it says this happened about 3:30 p.m. today.
Okay.
On the 4200 block of 13th Street Northeast. We're trying to figure out if someone caught a tag number, if one of the households could share their household camera, that would be great.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. And just to clarify, it was 13th Street, not 13th Place.
Well, the text says 13th Street Northeast.
Okay, great. I'll see what I can find.
That was 3:30 p.m. today.
Commissioner, if you don't mind, would you, after our meeting, maybe just email me and maybe connect me with the person who is affected? Because we have quite a few residents on that block with cameras that might be helpful, so I can try to loop them in and see if we can get something for them.
Okay. And one more question from the chat, then you can go. Ms. Woodland wanted to know, was the 12th Street robbery on the street or was that an establishment, I assume? She's asking. Is the sergeant here from 5D?
Yes. Give me 1 second. I'm looking at the system as we speak. And that was a robbery of establishment. Do you hear me?
Would you repeat that, please?
It was establishment.
Oh, okay. Establishment.
What's the establishment?
You know the name? Sergeant?
I can get it for you in a minute. Give me 1 second. It was the liquor store right there, Michigan Liquors.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay, is the what is it, Captain Terry still on the line?
Yes.
Hey, I'm still here. I'm sorry. What was the question?
About the 3:30 incident with the child being hit.
I thought I read something about it, but I'm not at work right now. I work tonight, actually. But I called the evening watch commander, and she was going to get back to me.
Oh,
I'm not sure how long it's going to take her, but
okay. And could you forward that information to Commissioner Costello?
yeah, absolutely. I'll make sure to do that tonight.
Will that work for you, Commissioner Costello?
Yes, thank you both very much. I appreciate that.
Okay, back to you, Commissioner Carley. That's it.
Oh, really?
I mean, the other stuff were same thing about the 4200 block. And Judy stated they have shredding every Saturday at the Benton Road transfer station.
I think there's a question too about boundary changes. Commissioner Higgins, how will the boundary changes affect 5B? Do you have that information?
I do not. We have not started meeting. So I do not have that information, and I don't want to just haphazardly share anything. I'm not prepared to do that this evening, but I thank Commissioner Piekara for sharing that information. But I'm not prepared this evening to talk about that.
It looked like there's some more questions in the chat. Do you see?
I do not. Let's see. No, I do not.
Anyone else see any more questions in the chat, or is it just me?
Yes. What is something just came up? What is the status of the ANC website up and running?
And we will be discussing that soon.
Mm-hmm. Jody, thank you so much. Welcome to our meeting. She said this is her first ANC meeting. She doesn't know if she has the right form, but there's a power line approximately 5 feet off the ground over the northern sidewalk between 12th and 13th on Girard.
Where is that?
That is Commissioner Amin, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I think it depends on which block. Is it between 12th and 13th on Girard?
Yeah, that's what the comment says.
I'm trying to envision that. So
it's over here.
Are we talking in the intersection, Jody?
Oh, hi there. I'm going to let my partner speak because he knows the details. Go ahead.
It's about midway down the block on the northern sidewalk. It caught me by the neck on a run last night, so I figured I'd bring it up. Might need to be raised a little bit.
Okay, is that the 1200 block of Girard or the 1300 block of Girard?
It's between 12th and 13th.
So it's the 1200 block.
Right, okay.
It's one block
Right,
away from me.
right. I'm just trying to envision, because when you said between 12th and 13th, are we talking the intersection?
No, it's midway down the block. There's a wire that goes from the southern.
Oh, I see. You said in between the two streets. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Got it. We'll look into it. Okay. Thank you, man.
And the next question is, what is the status of ANC's rent getting reimbursed? Has that been looked into?
That was brought up by Commissioner Piekara.
Yep,
this is Roxana asking the question.
Right, and Commissioner Piekara did the research and brought it up before the full body meeting, and it should have been brought up to the COW meeting first. And at that time, I think we were hoping or waiting for you to bring it up at the COW meeting so we can discuss it further.
Sure. I mean, I'll send it up again. So it's the next step would just be a resolution, but it has to come from the treasurer. So once that is, once the commission can publicly vote on and approve a resolution, we should be good to go. But okay. I'll resend that around to everyone.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Commissioner Higgins? Commissioner Higgins?
That's it.
Okay. So we don't have any more questions. That's great. Okay. Now we can move back to the treasurer, and then from there we're going to go on to the resolutions or the voting. Commissioner Amin.
Yes, commissioners, I think everyone has seen the agreement, the consulting agreement that we sent out from your emails. And so I guess, Chair Carley, how do you want to do this? Do you want to do a Q&A first?
Always.
Before I put the motion on the floor?
Before we get started, okay. So I just want to make sure this is clear, because I know a lot of times we don't, people think we're rushing into things, but we have discussed this over a year, and we have asked for feedback. And as a commission, we have discussed this, and I know that we are, and we thought, someone else was going to, take the lead on it. And then, the ball was dropped until it was come back up, where we had constituents asking us what happened to our website, although we had basically depended on the office of ANC to provide web support until that crashed. We, as a commission, each one of us are elected to or nominated for a office as an officer, and then we vote on that. And I am going to look, because I wanted to see, is the vote for the treasurer. When we voted to have Commissioner Amin, there was second, there was no other nominations, and everyone pretty much, supported having him as the treasurer. I just want to bring that up because that means that we do have things in place to ensure that, every officer is accountable, to ensure that, 2 people signs off on checks, to ensure that we meet every guideline that we are supposed to by the office of ANC, to ensure that our monies, there's no malfeasance, and that everything is intact. And I think Commissioner Amin has been doing a wonderful job with that task. Having said that, I hope that whatever we suggest, as we did with any other project, or how we're going to spend the money, or how we're going to go forward, that we as a commission can agree on how we're going to do that. And everybody, and we want the input. I hope you guys give the input on how we could in some way better protect ourselves, ANC 5B, going forward in this project. We need a website. We need a website. I just want to make that clear. If we choose this website, we're going to receive all this flack. If we don't choose a website, we're going to receive flack. So we got to make a decision, and we got to move on. Commissioner Amin was he's now the 3rd person that has been tasked with going out to try to hopefully make this come, to reality, where we can have a website. And so he has done that. And now he has selected some students from the university who claims that they can, and I say claims because they're still in the process of trying to iron this out, who is supposed to provide us a design, who is supposed to build this website, who basically is going to need approval from all of us. And when I say that, that means once it is on, to a point where, okay, is this what you want? Yes, I did give input. I did, share with them what we are trying to do, and how this website should have serve us, all 5 of us commissioners, as a commission board. So that means we will have our some records in there that that will be public, and we will mainly be publicly putting ANC 5B on that website, and no single member district information on that website other than who you are and what single member district that you represent. And the questions I ask are some of the same questions you guys are asking Commissioner Amin, and that is a one-time cost of $360. And I think that's in the contract, because I did review the contract before I asked Commissioner Amin to make sure you email it to you guys, so that you guys can give some input as well. So if there's something not in there, or if there's something in there that you think that need to be changed, your input is, it's invaluable. So if you can give it, I would appreciate it. No, we're not going to pay three consultants once they start giving support and maintenance. There's three consultants, and each one of them have their area of expertise. And this is how they are going to build this website and design as well. And so there may be one. So I think in that agreement, we said 4 times a month. I didn't want to say once a week because if something happened in 1 week and after they have already provided service or maintenance, that would allow them to be able to go back in there the same week and not handcuff ourselves with saying, once a week or limited to once a week. So only one consultant will be providing either maintenance or support, and not, or it could be one would do it this week and someone else may do it at a different time. Commissioner Amin, I guess he was scheduled to have a virtual meeting, and something happened, and that meeting turned into a conference call, and he did not want to be in the conference call alone and wanted someone else from the commission. So he got in touch with me, and I was on that conference call and did ask the questions that I thought would be, hopefully some of the questions that you guys would ask as well. And so those questions was answered, and no, it won't include the host, and we are going to be using what is it? Wix. Wix, because I did ask that. They sent some different accounts. I can send that and forward that to you guys so you can see it as well, with different prices. They did not think that we need the business plan, and they recommended something else. They could get the website up within 3 days, depending on how fast that we can move forward with this. And I'm just trying to remember all the questions you guys asked. So if I missed anything, please, because I did read your email, Commissioner Piekara and Commissioner Costello, and I think I tried to go, and some of the recommendations that you made and changing that agreement was helpful. Thank you. Nothing is finalized, but we do need to move forward on this. So I am going to give Commissioner Higgins, you may go first.
I'm in agreement with moving forward with the website. This is a discussion that we've had constantly, and it's time. And again, as the community comes on board, they want to be able to see the information. And if we can go ahead and get it up, I suggest that we move forward and have someone to get it done, and in the best interest of the commission.
Thank you. 5B03, Commissioner Piekara.
Yeah, so thank you for trying to do a recap of the questions I had. I think there are some of those details in terms of is it designed and how many pages. Some websites are a one-page landing page and that's it, and others have tabs and libraries and others. So I think just clarity on what the expectation is. But I'll also say that I know at our COW meeting. So just for the residents may not know, so I built the website, built out a website last May. It is sitting there on Squarespace, unused, totally built. In fact, I actually just repurposed it for my 5B03 website I think after that, just because it was sitting there unused. So it still exists, it's there, it's pretty much built, and I'm happy to share my screen, but wanted to flag that. And I know that, Commissioner Higgins had raised some concerns about some bias on if I was the one running the website, that it would not be unbiased information, which is her opinion. So I guess my question is, rather than having these GW students building an entire website, if the concern was the management, would it not make more sense to have them take control of the Squarespace site I've already built, and then they can update it with the content? Or because right now it's just a placeholder. I mean, it says proudly serving Brookland, Michigan Park, and I can actually share my screen for everyone, but it's all, and all of that text is pretty easy to share or to edit. I know Commissioner Carley, you mentioned some concerns over the image being of Brookland. I think that that is also kind of pretty easily addressed. That's just literally a graphic behind.
But that wasn't the question. I thought we were gauging questions in reference to the question that Commissioner Carley put on the floor. We're not talking about, but that can we get back to that? Because that's what we're talking about. And
we're working on it. So,
wait a minute, Commissioner Piekara. So basically, I think I was trying to go down the list and recall some of the questions to address that.
Yes, on your screen so we can deal with the business at hand.
Right. I think it's like the third time you brought that website up. So let's focus on what we
so let me ask the question this way. Is there a reason that we are spending $300 to build a brand new site rather than just taking that same contract and using the, was it $15 an hour 4 times a month and just having them update the website that exists? It seems like kind of a waste of money to spend in that additional, was it $360 or $300 when it's already built? And if the main maintenance and the content is a problem, that's easily fixable.
Okay, well, here's what we will do. We will get back to that question, but I think one of the main things that we would need to find out is that something they would like to, is that something they can do, or is that something they want to do? But we do need to include them in this process. But let's get back to the questions that you sent, a whole list of questions. And I was going through that just to make sure that, the questions get answered. And no, it will be tabs on there. And it just won't be one page. It will, have a place where we will be able to talk about what we have done as a commission, resolutions that as a commission that we have introduced and voted on, as well as what we as a commission board has done in the community. So it'll be all about 5B commission board.
Thank you. And then who is the point of contact for, if there is content that goes up? Is this something that the full commission signs off on? Is there a specific point of contact? Who is our point of contact for them? How is that relationship going to work?
Okay, so basically what's going to happen is Commissioner Amin and myself will have access and we'll have an understanding of how this website will work, because we're not going to put ourselves in a position that something may happen to all 3 of them and we are left, basically in the dark about how to keep this website current and ensure that it's active. So that, because if this website is all about 5B, then all 5 commissioners don't need to have access to it or to be, doing any type of updating, because that's what the support is for right now.
All right. So just a comment, as I've said, I would encourage us to open this opportunity up. I know that Commissioner Amin has a relationship with the folks that are involved in this, but I think really it would be great to have it be something that we open and allow bids for. And obviously these students are welcome to submit their proposal as well. But I do think, especially us being a government body, we should make this as open and transparent and ethical to allow everyone the opportunity to bid for this work. But,
and we are being open, we are being transparent, and we are trying to also be objective, because I think that I have some very talented people in my single member district that probably will do an excellent job on that. And I'm sure every commissioner here can probably say the same thing about their constituents as well. I think this is a good way so that we can just get this done and move forward. But thank you for their input. Commissioner Amin.
Why don't we let Commissioner Costello go, since I am the active party here?
Commissioner Costello, did we answer all your questions that you listed? And thanks for your input in the agreement.
Thank you. I think there were a few questions that were not addressed, although you did a good job, I think, addressing some of them. So just to clarify, the 360 is just for designing the site, but not for web hosting.
Because web hosting is an ongoing cost.
Right. That makes sense. the $360 payment would be for the group of for all 3 individuals, not per person?
The 360, and I think I did ask Commissioner Amin or the treasurer to include that, where it's a one-time fee, I think is in parentheses, beside that 360. So that is what we're going to be paying for the build and the design, and, and making sure that we have it exactly how we as a commission would like to have it. So yes, we are going to get it up, and the way it was explained, I said right now the most important thing is we need to make sure that we are able to post our agenda for the next meeting. So they will have that agenda posted, and they will still be working on that, getting up the different pages for that website.
Okay, thank you for that. Another question that I don't think we addressed was the terms, or excuse me, the date of the contract. I think we meant to write that the agreement shall begin March 1st and end June 1st. Is that right?
Was it March and June? It was 3 months. I do know that.
Okay.
And I did say stipulate the exact from month to month, day to day, or whatever it is. But yeah, it is exactly 3 months. And thank you. I appreciate that input.
Yeah, I just think we need to make it clear that June 1st would be the end date, not the range when the contract would begin, just to be clear about the parameters. There were several other questions I had. I just want to, before I get into all of that, at this point, I don't know if I misheard you, Commissioner Carley. Commissioner Piekara had proposed like just letting the consultants use the design that she already created and just manage that. Is that another option that we're considering, or do you just want to vote on whether to enter into the contract as it was presented? So for the $360 design plus maintenance.
We can amend the contract.
Okay.
But right now, I want to make sure that we move forward on this, because this again, a year and a half, and the only time we run into any type of problems is every time we bring it up. So if we do nothing, then we have commissioners on this board going out telling their constituents to contact the commission board because they don't have a website. And so now we're trying to get a website, and then we're getting some pushback on that. We can amend this contract, and we're going to make that very clear. And I explained that to Commissioner, to the treasurer, when he presented that contract to me, and we went through it. And I said, you know what? We're going to have and get some feedback. We're going to vote on it. And we're going to, talk to them, and then we have an amendment clause in there.
Okay. I guess maybe I would be more comfortable knowing that the students would be willing just to do the maintenance part of the contract and not the design part.
I do understand what you're saying. And again, and here's the thing, and I have to say this. Commissioner Piekara, I saw the site for the first time when you brought it up, and you bring it up every time, which is we bring up the website, but I think, if I am going to present something and I want something to happen, then I'm going to put everything in place and then say, look, it's ready to go. You know that we cannot pay for that website. One of us individually is going to have to give up a credit card or something, and I am going to be that person to do it because Commissioner needs that, and it only makes sense that it's not his credit card but mine or someone else's other than him. And so you could have got that website hot and said, look, it's hot, it's ready to go. Come on, let's do this. And that's not what happened. What you did was you made it hot, and then you made it specifically for your single member district. We can't keep coming up with all these alternatives. How many times has this website been brought up? Seriously. We brought it up at the end of the year. We said, look, we got to get the website going. No one brought it up again about Commissioner Piekara's website until we brought it up again in January when we met again. We can't keep saying, oh, you can do this, oh, you can do that. You go ahead and push that in the beginning once you set it up. That's all I'm saying. You know, you're aggressive when you want to be, Commissioner.
With all due respect, I sent a 3-page email to everyone. I'm happy to post it in the chat, but I did send a 3-page email outlining the hosting thing, the cost, the website design. I even designed a logo for 5B. I would argue that I
Okay, so can I ask you a question?
No.
Commissioner, nobody said no. No one ever
You're
said
right.
no.
You're right. No one said no. No one said yes outside of Commissioner Costello, but it was never brought up for a public vote. In fact, I was told we couldn't do it.
Why did you bring it up? Why did you bring it up at the CAL meeting? You said, "Come on, let's vote on this." Like we're trying to.
We can't vote on it at a CAL meeting, and I was told until September our finances weren't. But I'm happy to go back and show. But I brought it up at almost every meeting.
Commissioner Piekara, please. We can't talk together, okay? When I allow you and I say, okay, go ahead, let's go ahead, but I don't want to talk when you're talking. I asked you a question and I just don't want it to go on and on and on and on. You know, we got time here that's limited. Now, all I'm saying is I sent you an email earlier this week or 2 weeks ago and you never responded. And I sent you another email saying, hey, Commissioner Piekara, what's going on? You said, thank you so much for sending me another. Every time I don't receive a response, I send another email out because I know we get busy and I know other emails are coming in and that email could get lost. So, you know, I'm just saying, come on now.
With all due respect, and I'm happy to pull them out, but if the concern here is that I didn't bring it up enough times, I'm happy to go back and pull the records and show that I brought it up at almost every COW meeting we've had. But I will.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, Commissioner Amin.
Yeah, I mean, so much has been said here.
I'm really sorry. I had one other thing that I wanted to just clarify, if you don't mind, Commissioner Amin.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so the last question I had, and I think this maybe ties into the discussion that you and Commissioner Piekara just had, Commissioner Carley. I think Commissioner Piekara had designed the website, you know, kind of as a mock-up or a draft, because we understood that the old website or web hosting that we had was going to expire. I think former Commissioner McKembe had put it on his personal credit card. And
wait a minute, Commissioner McKembe also was a treasurer, but go ahead.
Okay, he had put it on his credit card because commissions don't have their own credit cards. And so it was coming up for renewal. He's no longer a commissioner, and I think he was planning on just canceling the web hosting contract. So we knew that in advance, and I think that's why Commissioner Piekara came up with the mock-up that she did. And so my last question was, I recall last April 2021, Commissioner McKembe had sent all of his receipts for his website, web hosting that he had paid for on his personal credit card. And I don't believe we've reimbursed him yet. And my concern is that now we would be entering into a new contract for more web hosting. And I don't know that we want to get too far ahead of ourselves in financially obligating us to a contract when we still have past debts that we haven't fully resolved yet.
Commissioner Costello, I did bring up the fact that Commissioner McKembe was a treasurer. So and if you look at our bylaws and look at the treasurer's book, you will see that any invoices that want to get reimbursed for, they need to be submitted within 30 days. And I say he was a treasurer because he understood that. He knew that. So he was getting reimbursed when he submitted the invoices.
And he also submitted, I think, invoices while he was still getting charged. So some of those invoices were within that 30-day period, and we still haven't repaid him for that. My understanding...
He hadn't submitted them. He had not submitted them. The ones that he submitted, we paid. And then he sent a stack of them that were uploaded into Google Drive back in September. I had, you can't speak for me. I had requested the invoices from Commissioner McKembe. Commissioner McKembe stated he didn't want to be reimbursed. We asked him 2 or 3 times for the invoices. Now, whatever he told you is what he said to you. but we were trying to reconcile his invoices. He disappeared off the map. He stopped returning phone calls, emails at the end of his term. He didn't submit any of the documents. He didn't even complete his financial reports. Neither one of you were on the commission, nor were you on our meetings.
So
coming to our meetings to even hear that. So what I'm saying to you is we were trying to reimburse him. He wouldn't share the information to be reimbursed and then stated he didn't want to be reimbursed. So I really appreciate if you don't speak about things that you don't actually know about.
okay, I'm looking at an email.
Well, wait a minute, whoa, excuse me, hold up, let's stop. I just don't understand why Commissioner Henry McKimbey would not submit that to Commissioner Amin. Excuse me. Commissioner Amin, have you received anything from Commissioner McKimbey? And if you received it, did you receive it within 30 days of the invoice?
What Commissioner Higgins said.
Take that down. Please, who put that up?
Piekara and Costello, of course.
Would you please take that down?
Oh, I'm just sharing the receipts with you.
This is the stuff. This is the stuff.
Uh-huh.
He wasn't even in the commission.
I know.
Excuse me. Okay. Commissioner Piekara.
This
Now,
is the
this
reason
right
that I
here.
would not want her to be taking charge of doing a website for us.
Excuse me. Wait a minute. Hold on. This is what I'm talking about, Commissioner Piekara. And you continue to do this because you always go on road, and I've asked you to take it down, and you continue to keep it up there.
Commissioner Carley, it's not my computer, so I'd appreciate an apology. I'm not the one sharing the screen.
Okay. Anyway, we're gonna move on. Since this is what we're gonna do, we're gonna move on. Commissioner, since we have commissioners on here who do not want to work as a commission board and want to go rogue, Commissioner, I am ready to accept any type of motion you want to put on the floor.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Carley, Chair Carley. Commissioners, everyone's had the opportunity to review the consulting agreement with the consultants, Hannah, Mariana, and Maggie from GW University. So the treasurer put the motions on the floor that ANC 5B accepts and adopts this motion, this agreement to have the consultants build, deliver, maintain, and support a website for ANC 5B.
I second.
The motion has been put on the floor to support an agreement to hire consultants to build, deliver, and maintain, and also provide support for ANC 5B to have a website, and it has been second. I would like to do a roll call vote. Commissioner Higgins, would you please do the roll call vote?
All right, roll call vote. ANC 5B01.
Yes.
ANC 5B02. Yes. ANC 5B03.
Nay.
ANC 5B04.
Yes.
ANC 5B05.
No.
The majority.
The ayes have it.
The ayes have it. It is passed. Okay, now we're going to move on to the resolutions.
Thank you.
Commissioner Higgins.
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready.
So we're ready for ANC business. Commissioner Higgins, would you please present your resolution?
Thank you, Chair Carley. I sent out a resolution for BZA application number 20681 to all of the commissioners. This was supposed to go before the commission back in January. We were still waiting on the most directly affected household to respond. They did in the affirmative. So we are moving forward with the resolution. And it's for property 1020 Newton Street Northeast. Application number 20681 of Seth and Laura Malagara to renovate and extend an existing rear extension to a principal dwelling unit in the R2 zone. Everybody has had the resolution. So we held a single member district meeting on the 20th of January. In addition to that, I went out door to door with notices for people to provide comment, sent out emails. I received emails back, texts back, as well as the document that I presented, all in the affirmative. So I would like to place the motion on the floor that this resolution be passed and the relief be given for the property at 1020 Newton Street Northeast, DC 20017.
I second that.
Okay, a motion is put on the floor to support a resolution. That resolution number is 20681. Is that correct, Commissioner?
That's correct.
Okay, for 20681 application, address 1020 Newton Street Northeast, and the motion has been seconded. We're going to do a roll call vote. Commissioner Higgins?
Yes.
5B02, Commissioner Piekara?
You mean 5B03?
I'm sorry, 5B03, Commissioner Piekara?
Approve.
5B04, Commissioner Amin?
Support.
5B05, Commissioner Costello?
Hi.
I thank you, and Ms. Malaguer thanks you as well.
Okay, and the motion is passed. Move on to Commissioner Costello. Your resolution has been moved, right?
I'm sorry?
The resolution for support safe passage to school and walk without worry.
Yes, ma'am. I hope it's okay if I share my screen this time. Let me pull it up for everyone. Give me 1 second.
You know, you asked this time, so at least you gave us that.
Okay. Let's see where I put it.
And Commissioner Costello, did you send that resolution out? I did not see your resolution in my inbox.
I did. I sent it a couple of days ago.
As an
You want me
email?
to find the date for that?
I know that you sent out an email, your first email. I did see that, but I didn't see your resolution. Did you send it out as a document, or are you referring to the email that you sent out?
It was I sent it as an attachment.
Okay.
And I sent it as a new email.
Okay.
Let me see.
I have it on February 16th as well as.
Thank you.
The other one.
Okay. Do you need to see the email, Commissioner Amin, or?
Commissioner, why don't you proceed? I can look it up while you
Great.
prepare.
Thank you. Okay, here we go. Okay, it's a long resolution, but the quick summary is that this is a resolution in support of legislation introduced in the DC Council that would improve traffic calming primarily for pedestrians, but also in areas around schools. And it would also support the expansion of public transit in areas that are considered underserved. So for instance, where residents might have long wait times to catch public transit, or they pay more to get from one place to the other because of the longer distance. And I included that because studies have shown that when you expand access to public transportation, there's a positive correlation between expanded public transportation access and reduced traffic fatalities and injuries. So when you encourage more people to access public transit or you make it more accessible, they're not relying on cars or maybe walking as far as they would otherwise have to get to their destinations. And so I included that for that reason, and I hope that's acceptable to everyone. So the resolution starts with a preface just explaining the problem, which I've used in a lot of the other resolutions that I've also introduced on this issue. So this should be nothing new. And so I then go into an explanation here about the three different, previous legislation that has been introduced and passed by the council, the Vision Zero Enhancement Act, which has not been entirely funded, and so DDOT has not fully implemented that bill. The bill would, if it were fully funded, it would require DDOT to install sidewalks, bike lanes, and other improvements when it has new construction projects. The council also passed the ATE System Revenue Designation Act, and that would authorize the government to use fines from automated traffic enforcement to fund the Vision Zero bill, but that funding is apparently not quite enough to fund all of the projects. So I flagged that just for general awareness for people to understand why the council's additional legislation is necessary and hopefully useful, because it will make it easier for DDOT to implement traffic calming, hopefully without the added requirement of needing as much funding as the Vision Zero bill does. Okay, so moving on, the three bills are discussed in this section, and so the Walk Without Worry Amendment Act would require DDOT to standardize how it designs and installs pedestrian safety mechanisms like continuous sidewalks, raised crosswalks, and raised intersections. And it would require that DDOT use those design standards whenever it has a new repaving or resurfacing project. So hopefully it doesn't add too much more cost to what DDOT was already planning on doing. It's just kind of part of the standard design that DDOT uses going forward. The Safe Routes to School Expansion Act has a lot of provisions, but some of the big ones are that it would expand, sort of expand the size of what's considered a school district to 150 yards. I think the current distance right now is 100 or 125. It would also require that intersections near schools be controlled by a traffic signal or four-way stop, that raised crosswalks and curb extensions be installed near schools, etc. There's a lot. So the last bill is the one that I mentioned about expanding access to public transit, and this would give residents, eligible residents, a stipend every month in transit credits. If they need to use public transportation, they have it available to them. If they don't need it, then the district doesn't pay anything for it. It doesn't cost anything because no one's using it. And then the other thing it would do is invest $10 million a year to improve bus service and bus routes in underserved communities throughout the district. So the ask in the resolution is that the council, one, try to find funding to fully fund previous legislation, the Vision Zero bill. Also include daycares and private schools in the Safe Routes to School Expansion Act, because I think this is something that a lot of residents in this area have been asking some of us for. There are a lot of daycares in the area, and they want to make sure the younger kids are also safe. And then lastly, swiftly schedule a hearing for these, schedule a vote for these three pieces of legislation. Phew. Okay, I'm done talking. Happy to answer questions or a conversation.
I have a question. When did this go out? I just checked my email and I didn't see it. And it's a lot of great information in here, but it's also a lot of information I think that I need to read. When did you send it?
I think Commissioner, I can't access it because I'm sharing my screen, so I can't lock it up, but.
Okay,
February
yeah.
16th, and it went to
Yeah.
everyone. So, and I'm happy to share my screen.
But let me. I'm looking now, and I've put in every single combination of that that Commissioner Costello just said. I don't have it either, Commissioner.
Am I muted? Because I don't think anyone hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, wait a minute. All right, are you done, Commissioner Costello?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay. Questions, Commissioner Higgins.
I don't have the information. I'm just looking for the information.
Okay, Commissioner.
Okay, so, okay, I see it. It's a correction on the agenda. It's not a document. It's just some of the information extracted from that.
No, there was a follow-up email.
Okay.
I don't know, Commissioner Piekara, I don't know if you have that.
Wait a minute, hold up. Commissioner Costello, when you say it was a follow-up email, did you send it as a document attached or did you send it as an email?
I sent it as an attachment.
Okay, and what, do you remember the date?
I'm trying to find it on my phone right now.
Okay.
I think Commissioner Piekara said the 16th, but I don't know if we're referring to the same thing. Is that Commissioner
The
Piekara?
16th of
I
February?
have one on the 16th, yes.
Okay, 16th of February.
Yep, at 11:37 p.m.
Commissioner, do you guys see that?
Yeah, that's the one I see with the information on the inside.
So it's an email or is it as an attachment?
No, it's an email. It's not an attachment.
Chair Carley, may I have the floor?
Commissioner Amin?
Yes, yeah, Commissioner Costello, honestly, I think this is absolutely great, what you have here, but I don't see it. On the 16th, what we have from you is your email with some body of your resolution within your email, and you said you're a little tired, but this is the email that you're sending out, you're gonna get to us. I don't see your document, Commissioner.
That's interesting. Okay, so, I'm sorry. I just stopped screen share, so now I'm trying to go back through my email to find it. So the 16th was when I sent the initial draft text, and then I was able to expand on it over the weekend. But let me see if I can find it. That is very strange that no one.
You're saying the second one was sent as an attachment?
Yeah, that's right.
As a document, okay.
That was my intention. I mean, it sounds like nobody got it, or
no.
Yeah, because that was the only one that I got.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Commissioner Piekara, she said she got it, but I didn't get it.
And I didn't get it.
So I can't vote on it until I actually read it. I think there's some great information on it.
Understood.
I just need to be able to go back and read it in its entirety.
Yep.
So I can make a,
Yeah. Yeah, because that was what I received as well as an email. You said you was tired and here's the gist of what you want to, put in a document.
That is so strange.
You really worked hard, weren't you, Commissioner?
I was. I think I actually sent it at like 2 o'clock in the morning when I finished it. So.
Well, you sent it somewhere, but you didn't send it to us.
I'm gonna dig around for it, but I take your point. You need more time. What I will just mention, because I think this is, I think we can reschedule this for March. So the council has put 2 of these bills on the agenda for a hearing in March. I think the date is March 14th. What we're asking for in this resolution is for the council to take it up for a vote. Since they've already scheduled the hearing, we don't need to ask the council to do that. So I think if we if we put this on the agenda for March 23rd for our meeting and took it up for consideration then, I think that would be fine and it would still be timely. So if that's acceptable to everyone, I can I guess, move to postpone discussion until March 23rd on this.
Thank you. I would really appreciate it. And I
Thank you.
thank you for the hard work on it because it's a robust resolution. No, I'm saying it in a positive manner.
I appreciate
But
that.
I just want to be able to read it in its entirety and go through it. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very
Of
much.
course.
We can see the hard work you put into it, and we appreciate it.
Sure.
So
we
we're
wanna-
going to do we're going to do one more.
I was just going to ask real quick, do we want to vote on that motion to postpone?
We can vote on the motion to postpone. Motion been put on the floor to postpone this, the agenda for, I'm sorry, I need to see it again.
Item D, support safe passage to school.
Okay, to support safe passage to school and walk without worry. Commissioner Costello believes that she will still have time to be able to get into the council. And so that motion is put on the floor. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, Commissioner Higgins has second the motion. So we're going to do a roll call vote. 5B01, that's a yes. 5B02?
Yes.
5B03?
Aye.
5B04?
Yes.
5B05?
Yes.
Okay, so that is moved until next month. Okay? And we will put it up under old business.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, let's take us out, Commissioner. We're gonna go in the reverse order this time. Commissioner Costello.
Yeah, Chair Carley, if I may, it was a guest here to speak on the flyer that Commissioner Piekara spoke about. Is Adriana still here, or did she get off?
What's the flyer for? Can you
I'm here.
Oh, Adriana, you didn't speak up during community concerns.
That's okay. I didn't want to take up space.
Chair, could Adriana have
going on? I don't want to take up too much space. I mean, I can just introduce myself.
But this is important, I think, Adriana. So if you will, we can set and then we can follow up like we discussed.
And you've been on here for a while. I've seen you pop in, and so you've been on here for a while. Go ahead, please.
Oh, I'm just listening. That's all. So yeah, I'm Ariana Gard. I'm a developmental psychologist, and I am an assistant professor at the University of Maryland, College Park. I just started in 2020, and I'm a new resident of Northeast DC. I'm from Oakland, California. Really nice to be back in a city. When I got here, I got a pretty big grant, very lucky to study and kind of try to understand how neighborhoods and environments affect teen and family health and well-being. And so in trying to figure out how I'm going to make this money work, I decided, let's do something a little different. Let's make this a community-driven study and not something that's by the scientists. So we are starting with just interviews. They're 1 hour, really open-ended interviews. We're interviewing teenagers, parents of teenagers, and community leaders. So that's ANC reps, teachers, faith leaders. We've done about 20 so far. They have been awesome. We're asking questions like, what do you like about your neighborhood? What do you want to see changed? How do you think about teen health and happiness? And the results of these interviews are going to be used to develop a bigger study. Every single piece of information will go back to the community and validated by survey statisticians and researchers at Maryland, with the idea that you guys can really use this data. But we're trying to do things a little different. So we're doing these 1 hour interviews, $40 cash. It can be in person in your neighborhood, at UMD, really, really flexible. And I can put my email in there. And yeah, Commissioner Amin, thank you so much. I can come back in a few months and give you guys an update and see what folks are saying. But we're starting in Ward 4 and 5 in Northeast DC.
Oh, thank you so much. And yes, data. I love data when it comes to behavior. So thank you very much. So on that note, you guys, we did well tonight as far as time. It is now 8:26. Of course, my goal, was always half an hour early, which would be 8 o'clock. But that's okay. We're getting better at it. I just want Commissioner Costello, our parliamentarian, so that we can start getting some information out to the commissioners before we meet, so that everyone can be reminded of what Robert's rules say about how we should be conducting ourselves when we're in a meeting, so that we can, keep getting that what do they call it? I can't say positive reinforcement because that's not it, but retraining. Okay. So I would really appreciate that as a parliamentarian, if you could, give out that information so we can all be on the same page and we can start acting as one. Okay.
If I can make a suggestion, very happy to do that. And I think that's a great reminder for everyone. And
I think that's what I said. Is that not what I said? Did I say it to everyone? I said to everyone. Did I not say to everyone? I thought that's what I said. I'm sorry, to all the commissioners, because I thought that's what I said, but go ahead.
If you mean at our public meetings, maybe we can devote like 1 minute or two on the agenda at the top, just to kind of reiterate the rules each meeting.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
You're very good with your agendas. I thought you would appreciate that.
Yes, that would be perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See, I like input like that. That's helpful. Okay, thank you guys. It is now 8:28. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I look forward to seeing you the first Wednesday of the month.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Cesar says good night.
Good night. Oh, God.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.